Hi everyone. So today I'm going to show you how to use this Airtable that is designed to help hubs, help groups, help you as an individual track council meetings and keep track of what your different councillors may be voting on, how they might have reacted to different bills on the table, maybe any quotes that they may have said. This is to get a general sense of who your councillors are, what their interests are, how they might vote on things, and also for any future election work, should these councillors run again, if you want to kind of show their track record, if you're trying to advocate for something and you're trying to recruit some opposition council members who might make that significant vote change happen more easily. So yeah, this is just a tool that is open to use, and I want to be available for anyone who wants it. I'm just going to share my screen. So here's Airtable. There are a couple other videos on our channel that involve Airtable, and so take a look at those if you'd like. I'll do a little bit of an overview, but essentially Airtable is a database where you can hold a lot of information at once and also kind of relate different things all together. It's a really great tool. It's free. And so what this kind of template is that I would be able to apply it to different hubs, or if you contact me or the Climate Reality Project, we can figure out a way to kind of allow you to take it and make it your own as well. So I've used, as you can see, some Harry Potter characters. It's just useful to have just like some fake names in there just to populate the table to show and demonstrate its use and how it all is related together. And so it automatically kind of takes you to the councillor tab. So we have 3 tabs here. And it's a little bit like Excel where, yeah, you have the tabs on the bottom, but in the Airtable, you have your tabs just at the top here. And so the councillors tab is the area where you would fill out all of the names of the people who are on your council, including maybe some pertinent staff who might be useful in contacting about certain climate issues. Like maybe there's a dedicated staff member to climate change and enacting climate action plans. So maybe that person is useful to put on the staff. Maybe there's like a transportation staff member. Who knows? But up to you if you want to put that on there. So we have a couple people already just put down. I just put random positions there. And it also allows for you to indicate whether or not one of the councillors that you're putting in is a current councillor or a former councillor, so that this table can be, used ever more. So as new councillors come in, you can change their status from current to former, and you can kind of keep track of who is actually presently on the council. So the way that you add a name, a file, is you just click this plus button. Who have we not used already? Let's say Ginny Weasley. And let's say that she is a councillor. We can say she's a former councillor, just maybe as a different kind of idea. And we can say she was in office from 2007 to 2011, say. Random years, I guess maybe it'd be more like 15 for like a 5-year term. And then it automatically, I've already had it to be sorted by the years and time in office. And so it automatically kind of sorted. Oh, sorry, I actually forget that. I've had it sorted automatically by position. So it realized that she was a councillor, so it kind of put them all together there. You can say for, Ward 8. And then her email, which might be different now, but you could just put like, Ginny.Weasley@hogwarts.ca. Phone number if you wish as well. So for this specific tab, that's all you would have to do. You just have to fill out your different councillors' names here. There are additional columns here, but you don't necessarily have to touch them because they're related to this tab and this tab, the quotes tab and the council meetings tab, and then they will automatically populate later. So no need to actually touch these 4 columns, they will automatically populate as you populate the other tabs. All you need to do for this tab is populate the names and essentially their contact information. So let's go to the council meetings then. So this is when you would actually be actively using this Airtable. So you probably would only have to fill out the councillors tab like once every single time an election happens. And then you kind of forget about it. This is the main page that you would be really using is the council meetings and motions. And so I have it sorted where what you're inputting in every single time is your motion that is being discussed on the table. And so we have our motions. So I put in some like ones about broom lanes, like bike lanes, or like a composting system. We have our full motion here. So in here, you can, copy paste whatever the document says. We have a description or further context. So in this section, you might want to say, I've said broom lanes have come up during summer of 2020, but had been tabled ever since. Councillor Potter had brought forth this motion again to the table. So helpful to say, maybe who moved it to begin with, maybe what have been the pressing issues in the past, why may this matter be important, just general context. I also have specifically actually a column here that says who brought forth the motion. And so for broom lanes, I put Harry Potter. This one I actually haven't added one, so I'll add this one now. And so as you can see, when you click plus, it will bring up all of the different councillors that you've previously put into that councillor tab. And so, you can pick from any of them that are the right one, which is why it's important to populate fully that councillor tab. So let's say, she's a former. Let's say Ron moved that motion. And then here I have a place for, any documents to be added to the file. So maybe you want to save the actual council minutes and place them here. Maybe your council records their meetings and puts them online. And so you want to put the link here so that it's easy to find. Here you have your council dates. And then here you have the status of the actual of the bill. And so if you kind of hover over this little information tab, it'll kind of give you a little bit of a briefing on what the different readings mean, and then based on that you can decide if it's at the first reading, second reading, third reading. Maybe it's still at the committee stage where it's being developed by different committees. Maybe that's at the public consultation stage, whatever. And then here's where you put the results. So the options are passed, did not pass, or tabled to another date. So maybe if it's only in the second reading, it might just be tabled to another date, and then you move on. Maybe additional notes if you want to add any sort of things. If you were present for the actual motion being passed, you can kind of give a description of what the atmosphere was like. This is for your own personal reference, so you can use this section as much as you'd like. I also have a section for the hub or group involvement in relation to that particular motion being passed. And so I said here, the hub has previously spoken to Councillor Potter about this motion. The hub has also done an email campaign and sending positive support for bylaws to all councillors, urging them to vote for it. And so, theoretically, with this motion being passed, you can kind of like attribute how the hub was maybe involved in that passing of that motion. So finally, here we have the sections for the councillors who voted for the motion and the councillors who did not. And so again, you will click it and it'll bring up a little plus sign where it will give you all of the different councillors that exist. Harry, Ron, and Hermione don't exist on this page because I've already put them down here. And then you can put councillors who voted against it. And this is just a really great way to kind of keep track of who's voted for what. And then again, this is what populates these columns at the end for the councillors. So which are the motions that they voted for, which are the motions that they voted against. And you can easily see here, okay, Draco, super into composting systems, but not into broom lanes. Contrastly, Hermione into broom lanes, not into composting systems, kind of thing like that. So that's what makes it really helpful to kind of relate them back and forth together. And so the quotes here are automatically populated by the quotes tab here. So you actually don't need to touch this final one because it will be, well, yeah, it'll be automatically populated. To make this process easier of inputting information, I've created a form. So what you can do is essentially you have all of the form is relating directly to all of this information here. And so it just is a different way for you to input information if you'd rather do it in a form. So you can click open form and then it'll open it, and then it'll be just like a really great way to fill it out. So as you can see, you know, I'll put just like test, and then, you know, exactly. So who brought forward the motion? We have all of our councillors here. I'll put Ron. I'll put the date that was like, I don't know, next week. Or maybe in the past. Let's say like November 30th or something. Let's say it passed. Who knows? Councillors who voted yes. Say Harry and Ron, and councillors who voted against, say Draco. Just playing typical Harry Potter politics. And then I'll click submit. And then we should see all of that information now, yes, on the main page. So that's essentially how another method of how you can put it forward. I realize I need to add the status here. Okay, so that will now be also on the form. Cool. And that's about it. I'll delete this now just because it's a test. And then another way that this particular page can be used is on the calendar feature. And so the calendar view is just another way, again, of looking at all of this information that already exists, but in a calendar. And so we have 2 motions here and 2 motions here. And so back into the calendar, if you click on, you know, say broom lanes, you're like, oh, the motion to pass or not pass broom lanes happened on November 3rd. What was the verdict? Who voted yes or no? You click on it, click expand meeting, and it gives you all of that information. It gives you the full motion, gives you description, the results, the councillors who voted yes, against, some quotes, again, relevant documents, recordings, and what have you. So it's just a really nice way to visually see that data rather than see it in like a big spreadsheet. This is also because it's a calendar, it's able to be put into code and put onto a website if you wish to do that. If you're interested in doing that, you can contact me and I can help you go through that. It's kind of the similar process on Airtable for any sort of pushing code onto websites, where you just kind of click. Well, I'll do that later. If you're interested in doing that, I can show you later. But yeah, so that's just another way of doing it. So finally, we're gonna go to the quotes tab. So this is just a space for if you attended a council meeting or if you were watching a council meeting online, for you to write down any notable quotes that you might have heard that might be useful in a lobbying sense or in like an action kind of sense, being like, hey, Councillor Potter, you said this in this meeting, but you actually haven't done the thing that you said that you would do. why not? It's a really just great tactic of kind of putting a mirror up to councillors. So this is optional, but it can be useful. So you can write down, like, let's do the composting one. I use my composter every day, and it helps make my like kitchen less of a mess, and also helps me like nourish my garden. And then this is where you would say what motion the quote is coming from, or at least like what motion was on the table when the quote was stated. So for this case, I would say the composting motion. Who said it? I'll say it was Ron. Whatever, why not? And that's all you have to do for this section. And by simply filling this out, it will automatically populate into both of these two other tabs. So Ron said that quote. Let's see where Ron's at. Ron Weasley, some quotes. Look, he said that quote that I just put in, right? Oh, it's for the composting motion. And you can see it reflected as well in this tab, magic and composting system. We go to the end, any quote said, this notable quote was said. So they're all related. But the only things that you really need to input yourself is the councillor data. So just all of the contact information, the council meetings, which you can do via this form, and any notable quotes. And then everything else, the template will just do it for you. It will automatically relate these informations to the information here. Okay, I hope that made sense. And if it didn't, let me know. We can figure it out together. But I built this tool out of some consultation with some hubs who are really interested in better tracking their councils and keeping an eye on what their councillors were doing. So this is just a really great way to hold all of that information instead of recording every single council meeting and having a bunch of documents spread out and not really having a way to kind of cross-check information. So I hope this helps, and let me know if you need any help at all. I'm always around. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.